Hello, artist! It's Kelly Folsom here, and I want to welcome you back to the Art Life Conversations podcast, where we talk about all things related to art life. And I'm so excited because today is episode 14. Moving into fall now. Can you believe it's October? It's crazy. Where has this year gone? I don't know, but it's just been flying by. I hope all of you are doing well and staying safe and healthy and inspired in your art lives. I have been doing a lot. There has been a lot that's been going on. As you may know, I'm in Denver, Colorado, and I've been getting outside and doing some plein air painting every single week, and it's been so much fun. I always feel when the fall is coming on, that pressure of winter is going to be here soon. And even though I live in Denver, I really do not like the cold. I do not like cold weather. And so I'm always doing everything I can to get outside as much as possible and be in nature as much as possible this time of year. So I think I have done something like 40 plein air paintings in the last month. Little studies, but it's been so much fun, and it's such a joy to be outside and just take in the beauty. And this time of year, the temperatures are just perfect. And of course, right now, all the colors are starting to turn. It's just so inspiring. So I just finished filming a new masterclass series called Simple Scenes Come to Life with Light and Color. So that will be coming out soon. I'm super excited about that. So much fun filming that. I really wanted to do everyday scenes that pretty much anybody in the world could find where they live, unless maybe you live in the Saharan Desert, Sahara Desert. So just everyday simple scenes and really bringing them to life through the magic and beauty of oil paint, which is just something about oil paint. It's just alchemy. I don't know what happens, but magic happens as soon as we start painting. So that's been going on. I've been working on that. We just wrapped up my free 5-day still life painting challenge, which was totally awesome. We had so much fun in there, and so many artists got their creative juices going again, got their confidence back again, got some fundamental skills under their belt, and just, got inspiration. And a lot of them were saying, you really brought me back to the joy of painting. And isn't that what it's all about, is the joy of painting, the joy of creating, the joy of making art. And then also we just wrapped up open enrollment for my Mastermind Mentorship program. And I just love that program so much. So anyways, you can go check out all of these offerings on Art Life with Kelly, KELLI.com. If you're at all, curious about what they are, right now we've got enrollment open for Vital Art Sessions. It seems like a deluge of things happening this week, and it definitely is. So many things are open for enrollment. We did the free challenge, closing up enrollment for the Mastermind Mentorship program, Vital Art Sessions, which is my monthly painting membership program, is open until October 11th. So if you're at all interested in that, definitely go to artlifewithkelly.com. Check that out. It is only $49 a month to be in there, and you get hundreds and hundreds of short 30-minute video instruction, as well as so many other bonus lectures and demonstrations that are longer that are included in that. It's just a really wonderful, great community to be a part of, a really strong support system, and of course yours truly, giving you super high quality art education, but in a joyful way. Yes! Can we please have joy and good quality education and discipline all at the same time? It is possible. So So I'm super excited about everything that's going on, all the new artists I'm meeting that are coming in to these programs. The Mastermind Mentorship is just kicking off. I just delivered the first teaching for the year. That is a year-long program, and I just delivered the first teaching for the year yesterday, all on planning your holiday art sales. So I've given my artist, that's a very small group of less than 20 artists in there. I've given my artist a big challenge to get all of their holiday art sales planned and make a lot of money as an artist, right? Or at least make more money than you're currently making. Start selling some paintings. My goodness. Okay, so so much going on, so much that I am so grateful for, so proud of myself, proud of all of the artists who are taking big chances on themselves, really committing, really investing in themselves. And that's what this podcast is all about today. The topic today is, big success requires big decisions. And I think this is something that everybody really needs to understand because pardon my French, but whenever you put in half-ass commitment, you get half-ass results back. Have you ever noticed that? So success requires and demands really that we make big decisions, big acts of faith, big steps of commitment before we can get that success in return. So a lot of times what ends up happening though is like we might allow ourselves to dream, or maybe we have a goal that we want to reach or a dream for ourselves in the future, but it stays like this abstract concept, or we don't really make a 100% commitment to it. So that's what I mean by half-ass, right? Like we might kind of, okay, well, I'm going to start working towards that, but you're really not that committed. You're really not that focused. You are really not 100% all in. So whenever we do make those big commitments, and usually it requires a big investment in ourselves, both of time and of money. Of course, being human beings on this planet, money is our source of investment, our source of value exchange. And so I feel that for somebody to really get massive success, massive results for themselves, that a larger amount of money does have to be involved in a larger commitment. So basically, the bigger the commitment is that you make, the bigger the rewards are going to be for you. So I always find this really fascinating whenever I speak to artists or, have conversations with artists, and the first thing out of their mouth a lot of times is, oh, I can't afford that. Oh, that's too expensive. Or gosh, your prices are really high, And I find it so fascinating because I know that this is a law of life, that we have to show with our time and with our money and with our actions that we are really committed to something. So the more time commitment that we make, the stronger our actions, our acts of faith are towards that goal, desired goal or dream, and the more money that we invest, truly. I have invested so much money in myself as an artist and in my art business. We're probably talking about $200,000 now at this point, $100,000 to go to art school, and then probably at this point close to another $100,000 working with other art business coaches, other business consultants to improve my art business. As well as various other workshops and courses that have cost me money over the last 14 years. And let me tell you what, the bigger the investment is that I have made in myself, the bigger the return on investment has been, the bigger the results. So I think a lot of times people fall into this trap of not making that investment, not taking that risk, so success really does require that risk. And that leap, I look at it as a leap of faith, as an act of faith to the universe, for you saying, like, I am all in on this, universe, God, fate, divine providence. I am 100% all in, and I am fully committed, and I am taking a risk. I am investing in myself. And whenever you do that, it's really amazing, because once you do that, it's like a law of life that the universe, divine providence will rise up to meet you, will like immediately start to reward you with progress. Let's say, for example, if you're investing in your art business, with sales, because here's kind of the thing, like, if you're not willing to invest money in yourself, how do you expect other people to basically invest in you? How would I expect other people to be willing to pay me for my expertise, for my experience, for my mentorship, to buy my paintings, to sign up for my classes? Like, how can I expect other people to do that if I haven't been willing to invest in myself? Does that make sense? If I have not made the investment, made the commitment, how on earth can I ever expect other people to do that with me? So I just see this as like, it's a very logical law of life, really. And so unfortunately, so many artists are missing out on big rewards, big success, because they are too scared to be fully committed. They're too scared to invest in themselves, or they're too cheap. They have major money blocks, and they immediately say, well, that's too much for me to spend. I don't have that kind of money. Listen, I didn't have the money either. Whenever I signed up for art school, I had no money. I had no way to pay for art school. I took out loans to pay for art school. Now, obviously, I'm not recommending that anybody go into debt, but let me tell you something. When you make an investment like that, it immediately increases your accountability like 1,000%, because now you have something at stake, right? You have something to lose. You have something to follow through on. Like, if I didn't follow through on my goal, once I was a year in, I was $20,000 in debt to go to art school. And so that first year was so hard. And let me tell you what, I wanted to quit so many times. I wanted to give up so many times. But the one thing that always kept me from giving up, really at the core, was like, no, I really want to do this for myself. I really, really want to see where this can go. And I had no clue where it could go. But the main thing that kept me from quitting and walking away was the fact that, oh my gosh, okay, I'm going to quit and I'm going to leave, and then I'm going to be paying back $20,000, and for what? So it really held me to that 4-year commitment. I had my eye on the target. You do have to have a target, right? Like, what's your goal? What are you trying to hit? Whether that's in your revenue, whether that is a goal of getting into galleries or getting into shows or winning awards or selling your paintings. You do have to have a specific goal, a specific target that you can keep focused on. And the more invested you are, both financially and with your time and your energy, the more chances are that you will be successful, right? So the main thing that kept me from walking away was the fact that I had invested all that money. And of course, every year, the more money I invested, the more determined I was to finish that program and walk away with my degree, right? And walk away, more importantly, not just with that degree and that piece of paper, but with knowing that I had followed through, that I had stayed committed. And then, of course, being $100,000 in student loan debt after it was all said and done was like, okay, now that was motivation for me to get to work. Like, work it, girl. Like, hustle. Like, figure out how you're going to pay those loans back, right? The pain of bearing that burden of the loans was actually a good pain. It was like extreme motivation for me. Too many times what I see with artists is that they just don't have anything to lose. They don't have anything at risk. Maybe they're still working a job, or they have a secondary source of income. And so they're just really not that, in it. They're not that in the game. So for me, I have always been all in the game, and it started with the first time that I made a huge investment and took a huge leap of faith on myself and signed up for art school. Now, I don't think that you need to go to art school or art college, but I just want everybody to know that the bigger the investment is on yourself, the bigger the commitment, then the more likely it is that you will reach your goal and get that success. When we don't do that, we just tend to give into the reasons why we can't do something, or the excuses of why we can't reach that goal or meet that goal. We get into self-doubt. For example, some of these excuses and reasons might be things like, oh, it's not the right time. I'll wait till next year, or I'll wait till next month to get started painting, right? Like now's not the right time, or of course I don't have the money. If it's a bigger investment, like the Mastermind Mentorship Program is $5,000 for the year. Now I see this as incredibly affordable for what the artists are getting, but it is, a big chunk of change. It's an investment, and it has to be, I make it an investment on purpose for people so that they will be more committed to the program and to themselves and to following through, right? Because it's very painful. The bigger the investment, like the bigger the pain is if we don't follow through, right? So we just have more to lose. We have more to put at risk. So these excuses and reasons like it's not the right time, I'll wait until I'm retired, I'll wait till I, know what I'm doing, until I need more practice before I really, start working on my independent work, or really start trying to get into galleries or enter shows or enter competitions, all this waiting. And meanwhile, guess what? Like nothing's going to happen. You're just spinning your wheels. Basically the results that you're getting now, the success that you have now will be the success that you will have a year from now, 2 years from now, until you make a big decision. So success requires that you make a big decision, and it requires us to make it before we are even ready to make it. And that, let me say that again, it requires us to make that big decision, that big leap of faith, before we feel ready. So some of the other excuses or reasons might be like, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what's going to happen, I'm not capable yet, I don't have the right skills in place, I need to work more on my art before I do that thing, before I, for example, sign up for something like the Mastermind Mentorship or go to a workshop. I'm just going to stay in my little private, little safe bubble and not make any big waves, right? So this is just like the nature of the human brain. It's scared. It doesn't want you to rock the boat or do anything out of the ordinary because it doesn't like to be uncomfortable, right? So what we have to do is just like, no, this is a law of life, and we have to kind of assure our brain, our ego that, I promise you we're going to be safe. I promise you everything's going to be okay. Yes, we don't know, I don't know what's going to happen here, but I'm excited about the possibilities. I know that if I continue to take steps of faith and steps of commitment, that it will work out. That is just the law of life. Like good will come of it, right? And honestly, so much more good than you're even able to comprehend or even grasp. So for example, whenever I first started on this art journey back in 2000, really it was 2006 when I first started taking art classes. I had no clue. I didn't know what kind of artist I wanted to be. I had Zippo skills, like very, very amateur drawing skills was all I had because I just drew as a kid. And that was it. That's all I knew. I didn't know anything about art, anything about the art world. I didn't even know galleries existed. I didn't know other artists were making a living as artists. So I had zero knowledge about anything. I had zero capability. I had zero idea of like where this was going. In fact, for me, I remember when I first went to art school and they would be asking me questions like that, I would say, I have no clue. Like, I have no clue what I'm going to do after this program ends. Like, I have no clue what kind of artist I'm going to be, what I'm going to paint. I had no clue I was going to be painting still life a lot, that I would fall in love with still life. I didn't even know what still life was, so you have to do it before you know. You have to do it before you feel ready. And I'll just leave you with that final note today that you have to make big investments, big decisions, and really have to make the decision. So you just have to decide, like make a commitment, make the decision and decide. That is the hardest part, is doing that, making the choice, right? And then because whenever we don't make decisions, it's always like in this almost like purgatory type of place, like, oh, maybe one day, And in that regard, it will always just be maybe one day. And I can guarantee you, until you make a decision and a big investment in yourself, it will always just be maybe one day. And you will always play small and get less results than maybe lower level results than what you want. So until I decided to make that big decision and that big leap of faith in myself, I was just going to stay at the same level. I was just taking a handful of little classes here and there, working with some pretty mediocre artists and pretty mediocre instructors at the time. And so I basically was just tipping my toe into the water, right? A little bit here and there, doing a little bit of drawing, taking a few classes, And so because I was just tipping my toe into the water, I was getting very, very low level results back in return. And so once I decided, like, okay, this is my goal, I'm going to go get an art degree, once I discovered that you could get an art degree, then that was it. That sealed my fate, making that commitment, making that big investment. So I'll leave you with that the bigger the investment you make with your money and your time and your commitment, the bigger the rewards will be that you receive in return. Okay, artists, thank you so much for tuning in today. Please let me know what you liked about this podcast, what resonated with you. And if you have any topics that you'd like me to talk about in the future, you can always email info@artlifewithkelly, KELLI.com. Put in the subject line podcast so that we know what your email is about. And I'd love to hear from you and have a conversation with you all. So until next week, wishing you all happy painting. Remember, keep that joy up in your art making and really think about a big investment that you could make in yourself and your art this week. Okay, bye.